Used to be a countdown. Now there's no more.
Well, now
It
we're
says
live.
Just says live now. So what a way to start off the brand new year of 2015. It has been a new year now for a little over a month and 15 days. Um, this is not only a new year, the first show of ours in the new year, but it's also the first show in the next 100 of our show. We're now 101 shows old. And wow, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the show all this time. Thank you for supporting the website. Um, we couldn't have done without everybody out there who's tuning in and checking out the webpage. So I really want to thank you guys for that. I also want to thank who I have down below me as I see below. I don't know if you guys don't get that part. I have the YouTube pages to see who's down there. But I have my friends here from Android Coliseum, and I will introduce them from the left to the right. We have Cass Morrison.
Hello.
We have Martin Gay.
Howdy.
We have Sivan Rehan.
Hi, how are you?
Is it supposed to rhyme, Sivan Rehan? Is it? Am I doing it right? I don't think I've ever really asked.
Fine.
Okay.
That's why I didn't change my last name when I got married.
And then we also have, last but definitely not least, Tom Gray.
Hey guys.
All right, so everybody, thank you for tuning in. We do have us up on Google+. We have it up on our website. And if you go to our website, so hangouts.androidcoliseum.com, made a nice little subdomain this year, so that you can actually join in and watch the live view feed here, but also join in on the chat feed. So I know we have Martin and Tom there hanging out in the chat. So by all means, check it out, talk. I've said it a million times, and I'll keep saying it till somebody stops me. Android is a community. We are all about discussion and further the discussion. So by all means, join in the discussion, be a part of it. We have our agenda up on the page. If you go to the website, we will have a link to the agenda. And we're going to really try to keep this to 30 minutes or less, just because it's late. Why not be less than 30 minutes? Plus, nobody want to bore you. So anyways, we have a few topics of discussion there. So let's just dive right into it. First off, but foremost, I don't know if you guys have noticed something, but we now have I'm going to do this way. There. A nice new little icon right there. And that is thanks to Rob Blake. Rob looked at our webpage and he said, you know what, it needs a little bit of tweaking that logo, and decided over lunchtime he was going to design us a brand new logo for our website. So again, like it keeps the Android Coliseum dude with the boxing gloves. The Coliseum's a little more flat, I guess you could say, a little more nouveau. So there we go, and a splash of red just for the Canadian hearts, right? So thank you so much to Rob. You'll see some redesigns on our webpage in the next little bit to incorporate that logo, and some color schemes there as well. So we've all included it. Again, thank you to Rob for that. If you guys are looking for any work, you should go and check Rob out. I'm sure he can design you something, for a fee. But anyways, let's take a look at the rest of the news. Starting it off is DroidCon. Now, DroidCon is an event for Android enthusiasts that are out there, and it's been around in different places. It's been in other countries and other cities in the United States, and I think this is the first that they're coming to Canada, and it's going to be in Montreal from April 9th to 10th, so it's a 2-day session. So Android TO, you may be familiar because Martin and myself and Sivan was even there last round. We went there and hung out and learned about Android. 1-day session, very developer focused. DroidCon is a 2-day session, lots of workshops. There are some developer ones, but also some non-developer ones. So a little more expensive, but it includes all your meals, so your breakfast and lunches for both days. That's April 9th to 10th, and Martin will be going to that one. So he's a little more familiar with the French language than I am. So
I'll be going and I'll be reporting back, and probably going to have an all-around blast.
I can imagine. In the land of poutine? Oh, c'est bon, c'est bon.
Actually, the land of poutine would technically be Drummondville.
Is Drummondville Montreal? Or Quebec?
Yeah, it's in Quebec. But definitely that's where the poutine was born.
Well, I consider anywhere in Quebec is going to be the Poutineville. So, yeah, but Savan has said that apparently the poutine there is not as good as the poutine we had back in Toronto at Smoke's Poutineery. So,
And
but I don't
unfortunately,
know.
I won't be in town for that. So
They'll miss
Uh,
out. Oh, that's too bad. But
that's
if
too
you're not,
bad.
if you're going to be available, anybody else there on April 9th to 10th, you should check out DroidCon. So droidcon.ca. I wrote an article about that the other day. So take a look. We'll be keeping up to date on the news about
Yeah,
DroidCon and the new
definitely.
topics. And so check it out.
Come and
Definitely
join
an
me. Come and
opportunity.
find me. You can't miss me. I'll be marked as Android Coliseum all over. So just flag me down, run after me. I don't know. Come after me and just give me beer. That works.
Probably after the conference part, right? So.
Damn it.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And if it goes very well, Cass is offering to help organize DroidCon in Lloydminster.
Yeah. Because everyone likes to come here.
Well, it's the Paris of the prairies, is it not?
Of course.
Yeah. I think I
Anyway,
can arrange for a little Eiffel Tower somewhere.
there you go. You got plenty of room out there.
Yeah. And not much going on with the slowdown in oil.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a topic for another day. Okay, so let's keep it going here. We also, besides that, some news into the recently. We've all heard of Mobile World Congress. This is the new or the the big event that we tend to see, kind of like the CES but for mobile. And usually we tend to see some new events or new devices being announced then. And HTC announced their event on March 1st, so the day before Mobile World Congress, and then we're probably going to see the new HTC M9, which is their new device. There's rumors out there about what it's going to look like already. And then a couple of days later, Samsung announced their Unpacked event will be on March 1st. And if I think you look at the calendar, one is at like 10 o'clock in the morning, the other is at noon. So 2 hour separation between these two launching their big, heavy devices. Can you smell the competition? So be kind of an interesting.
It's gonna heat up. It's probably gonna heat up. They're probably gonna try to up one on each other.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to play into their actual presentation. Like, as much as they're probably going to, they're already competing against each other, but is it going to really be something where they're going to, well, why not get the best device right now and not wait 2 hours extra for it or something, right? So I don't know. It'll be kind of interesting to see how they take on that. So imagine you can watch it. They'll have a live stream on their own website, so we'll post information as it gets closer to that March 1st date. Okay, now on to the next bit of news. TELUS has rebranded its public mobile carrier or operating as Canada's cooperative wireless provider, and I'm kind of excited about this, and then also let down a little bit. I'll let Martin talk about it.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see how TELUS was going to do this, and unfortunately, they haven't made mention that this was going to be for all of Canada. They made quite sure that to let people know it was going to be Western Canada, and it would be the major part of that would be to be offering exclusive data packages to people. So pure data, no phone services, no texting, just pure data, like you can get on some of your LTE tablet. And they've provided quite a bit of information about what they're going to do and the pricing model they're going to be following. And it's pretty much in line with what we've seen in the U.S. so far for the likes of T-Mobile and others. So it's something to take a look at if you're actually in the mood to just get data. This might actually be something you would be looking at. I mean, a lot of people are doing voice over IP now, so this could be a solution for people and maybe cut down on your pricing for your phone plan. I know I'm paying about $100 a month. Maybe something there you could drop your plan by half.
Yeah, data only option would be awesome. Like, I would just use VoIP. And I've done the math on it a long time ago about how much more you're paying for voice talking versus VoIP talking. It would just make most sense to be data only.
Oh, definitely. I would just go with data only if I could. And then we have something else. I mean, a shout out to Rogers because now they are releasing some of their lollipop schedule for various phones that they have, and I'll let Ryan continue with that.
Yeah, so Rogers is update schedule. So if you go to their website, I put it on their community forums.rogers.com/blah blah 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 blah. It lists all their updates. Now again, whenever it comes to updates, they're almost as bad as CyanogenMod. Just don't ask for updates or ETAs. They've given us very vague, coming soon, March. So we've updated all that information and put it into our firmware update page on the website. So if you go to databases.androidcoliseum.com, you'll see a full list of all the um, firmware updates that we know of and sort of the dates we've been hearing about. So you can check that all out there. And then on to more about Rogers releasing, Martin.
Yes, Rogers is going overboard with the release lately, and they're going to be releasing the Nexus 9, so the HTC Nexus 9 LTE model, and it's going to be made available to Rogers customers and or people that want to get the Nexus 9 for the LTE capacity and features that they're going to be having. So this is looking good. I mean, personally, I don't know if I'd be using it on LTE because I'm on Wi-Fi all the time, but that might be a solution for travelers. And especially if you're going to be grabbing one of those data package plans from the Canada's cooperative wireless provider, that could be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, do we? Because I think on Rogers and you have to buy a separate package for your tablet, right? Like, how much easier would it be to just tether?
No, they subsidize it, so you'll pay for the tablet in 24 months, plus they charge $12 extra to share the data with the tablet.
Yep.
So I imagine the cost will be quite high for 24 months.
Yeah, so I mean, personally, I would just tether my device to, instead of having its own extra $12 a month. It's the same data, right?
That they won't give you the subsidized tablet if you have the Share Everything plan. Share Everything plans only start at $75 a month. So if you take the $75 plus the fees to share with the tablet plus the cost of the tablet, so you end up with double the I pay.
No, you know my feelings on new subsidy plans and new having. But anyway, Martin, I'll leave you the last comment there.
If you actually did the calculation on this, the tablet would end up costing you well over $1,200.
Ouch! Ouch!
Wow.
Instead of buying it outright for about $699.
Yeah. Oh. Anyways,
on top of that, you have to go with one of their newer plans, and you have to get a minimum of 3 gigabytes of data, which starts costing at $50 plus your data, plus your mobile plan, plus your phone plan. So you're paying about $100. You're paying about $150 a month.
Ouch! Just tether. Buy the non-LTE and tether.
No, they log down the tethering, so you can't do it.
Anyways, moving along. Cass. We saw a lot of Super Bowl ads recently, and I think you liked a couple. Well, these ones are Super Bowl. These aren't the Super Bowl ones. These are just Android released these ones.
Yeah, like I'm always interested in what Google does for ads and actually the chatter they get back. And I know with the last one, which was Be Together Not the Same, I had some comments about why do they have to show gay people? And I'm going, what? It's like gay people use phones. It's inclusive. I'm not getting that question. But with animals, everybody's all over these animals. And I mean, it's cute. I like my dogs. Don't get me wrong. But I don't understand why people are so on board with animals, but they protest different types of people that would use phones. It is a really cute commercial, though.
It is. I mean, it's a bunch of. There's a goat and a horse.
And I love goats, so.
A monkey and a dog, a cat and a dog, a lion and some. I know a bunch of little animals, and it's like, oh, be together.
And they're all working together.
They're all chummy. Who doesn't like?
It's just diversity, I guess. You know, you can mix and match. You can have one kind of phone, one company, that any kind of watch. Not unlike the iPhone that goes with an iWatch that goes with the iPad. You know what I mean?
Yep, and it does more diversity in a neutral way that everybody likes. Because I even read comments that people that aren't even particularly tech-like are now thinking, hey, maybe Android because of that commercial. So it'll be interesting to see how it, like, it's not coming with an orangutan, just in case you thought so.
Yeah. But cool ad. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. and it's just for me, it's just really cool to see Google do some advertising for this one we
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen in years, right? We just started to see this with the Nexus 6 when it came out. They started doing the Be Together Not the Same with just the Androidify characters, and then they've been launching, and it's just really good. Anyways, I like it. So speaking about, oops, I'm hitting this. Speaking about Android and doing things, the Android killer is potentially coming this way. We hear about this Samsung. I'm not sure if that's the right word. I always say Tizen. Is it Tizen? Tizen?
I would say Tizen
I
too.
say Tizen. Tom, what tell us about this Z10?
Yeah, so I'm just talking about Tizen in general, not necessarily on the Z10, but I watched a guy on YouTube doing a whole review, and he had said he's from India and everything like that, right? And he had the phone in his hand, and it looked like the Samsung Galaxy Ace. It looked really, really cheap, and of course it was a cheap phone. It's made to be a budget brand. We were talking about Tizen back about a year and a half ago, saying, oh, Samsung's switching to Tizen, they're kicking Google out. And all the blogs went crazy saying, Samsung's moving away from Google, and it didn't quite go as far as everyone thought. Their watches, the Galaxy watches, have Tizen on it and stuff like that. So anyways, back to the phone. This guy has a phone on there, and it looks like the Galaxy S5 UI. It's got the blue and the circles, and it actually looks pretty good until he starts playing with it. He pulls down the shade, the notification bar, and it looks like an S5. And then he starts playing with it, and nothing's working. He swipes up his apps, and he's got his tray, and when he swipes the screen, only half the screen moves to show another page of apps. And he's complaining the whole time, going, oh, I can't touch these 8 apps at the top. Pulls the notification back down, sees the home screen, says, cannot put apps on the home screen, widgets only. And he's like, and there's only like 7 widgets. You got clock, weather, calendar, and there's a couple other minor little ones there. He says, can't customize your icons. Shows the 8 icons at the bottom of the tray where we have ours, like down here. And couldn't move those around. He says they're locked there. And he just wasn't interested at all. He says, I kind of feel like I've been ripped off and stuff like that. And you get what you pay for, but it's basically Samsung's rendition of their version of Android without Android. And their app store, he said, only had 1,000 apps, and many of them kind of start like the Windows, how Windows started with the Windows phones. They're basically an app that was a portal to a website. So you clicked on like Google Maps, and it would give you a window frame, and it would just load Google Maps on a mobile browser, and that was an app. And apparently there's a lot of those on the Samsung store and stuff like that. It just, they're young, they're early, so maybe it'll get better, but right now it's just not a pleasant sight. And hopefully people who have it are enjoying it for what they paid. But other than that, I mean, it's the first view of a phone that doesn't look like it's going to be very successful. And that's basically what I've got to tell about it.
I'm pretty sure Samsung are testing the waters with that more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not a high-end device at all.
No. It's
they're testing the operating system in
Yes.
the real-life world. That's all they're doing.
Well, and from what I understood too, is they're concentrating more on Tizen on appliances and stuff like that, appliances, watches, and things like that, more than really targeting trying to replace their S series, their Galaxy series, or their Note series. They already have high-end phones. They have low-end phones. They can use Android One on the low-end phone. So I almost feel like they were forced into this because they talk so big that they almost had to release something in a phone. So they released it in a market where, seriously, for people like us, sure, that's not going to meet our needs. But for people who this is their only phone and their only access, and they are poor, this could very well be, it's the difference between having access and not.
Quite true.
This could also be, this is me thinking out loud, and I have no proof of this at all. This also could be Samsung trying to see if they can make a successful phone without having to pay royalties to Google. Going all Samsung, all in, and maximize profits without paying royalties and, paying them X amount of dollars to use the Android platform, they can do it all in-house. Kind of, I think Cass in the comments, kind of like an iPhone, made by Samsung, running Samsung software for Samsung only. I mean, they could be trying to go the Apple route, and that would mean a locked down system, and that moves away for what everyone uses an Android for. Samsungs, above all else, except for Nexus, of course, are rooted phones. Everyone loves to root these things and unlock the true potential, and they kind of take that away, and will they be successful not having Android? That's the biggest question for me.
All right, let's move it along here. So we could talk about Tizen and the debate over Android for quite some time. But let's, speaking of moving away from Android, or moving away from Google in a sense, we're looking at a potential Google-less version of CyanogenMod. Now, that CyanogenMod dude, he's pretty outspoken, has made some pretty loud comments in the past, so this is kind of not surprising he's making some loud comments now. But interesting take. Your thoughts, Tom?
I've been a big follower from CyanogenMod for a while, and I'll kind of start where you left off. Is this guy making some pretty big comments, and some things, honestly, as a businessman, you shouldn't be saying about your partners and stuff like that. I mean, you were born from Google. Why would you then turn around and stab them in the back, essentially, is what they're doing. Making a Google-less platform, I can see how the diehard CyanogenMod fans would absolutely love this. But if you look at CyanogenMod, so much is based around Google still. They don't have the ability. I mean, they have their camera app, which is buggy at best. I've tried it, and it works most of the time, crashes the other half. Their gallery app is kind of cool, but lacking functions. I mean, then they have their own launcher. Once again, it's kind of like Nova, but with half the settings. So I wouldn't say they're able to successfully go through without Google, but at the same time, my whole opinion of CyanogenMod has changed over the time. Ever since the really terrible 1+1 launch and all the nasty little things they said and did and little games they played, in my mind, they've kind of ruined the reputation. I just don't really want to go there anymore. It used to be stock and base, and now they've kind of bloated up to something that really shouldn't have been.
Okay, so we got some comments here.
Yeah, I'll look at the comments.
We can talk about this for a while. So, let's hear your thoughts.
First of all, they abandoned Oppo. They started with the N1, right? That made them more popular. They put the CyanogenMod on the phones. Then they abandoned it. There's no updates for it. Then they abandoned OnePlus. Now they're abandoning Android. I think people are losing faith in them. Their reputation is really is hurt.
Okay, Cass, your thoughts?
Well, I just look at that and how much people really slagged on Samsung for having running parallel apps. Like really, really slagged on Samsung. Samsung, very rich company, lots of income from other places other than mobile, and they're cutting back on those apps. And seriously, if Samsung couldn't make it and make their apps popular with their user base, I cannot really see how CyanogenMod's going to do that, especially like Saban says, they've really toasted their reputation. Like, really toasted their reputation with their hit and run type business philosophy. Like, who does that? Who doesn't support their stuff?
Well, they'll support it. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I think you hit it right on the head. Like, it's very much like when I remember using CyanogenMod back in the early days of like 6 and 7 on my Galaxy S2, and I tried it on my Nexus. It was not bad, very slim, very easy to use, but it's been getting much like Samsung, the S3, S4 days, where it was heavily bulked down with CyanogenMod stuff, right? That that probably never use it anyways. But yeah, so well, interesting to see what might happen with CyanogenMod in the next little while. Okay, last but not least, last topic we want to get into for news. Just we're getting very close to this 30-minute mark here. Android Wear had released some numbers from I think it was a group called Canalys, where we heard it was somewhere in the range of 720,000 or 750,000 Android Wear devices that were sold in the past year. Now, Sivan, as a recent Android Wear convert, your thoughts on this?
I love my Android Wear. First of all, I'm very surprised how much I enjoy it as a watch. After not wearing a watch for so many years, I didn't think that I would enjoy wearing a watch. But I got used to it. I got used to having it always with me and always get my notifications, the weather, my emails, text. When someone calls me and the phone is not near me, I see who calls me right away. I can run to the phone and pick it up. So for me, it does seem like a device that can become an essential. But I find that many people that wanted to buy the watch couldn't because it was just not available. So they could have shipped many more. I find that they didn't make a lot of them. It was hard to get them around Christmas time when it was the peak time to buy them. So I feel that the companies were testing the water and didn't manufacture many, but if they will keep on making them, people will keep on buying them because it's just a cool thing to have on the street. People stop me, people look at it, people want to have it.
And yeah, and it's still new, and there's a lot of people talking about how 700 doesn't seem like a very large number, but it's still a very testing the waters phase in terms of wearables. Now, speaking of a person who likes wearables, Cass, you've had quite a few over the while, right? So your Fitbit, you have the Gear Fit, which I really like the Gear Fit.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Android Wear and the numbers, where we're at now, or?
Well, I have to say, I really like my Gear Fit net as well, but now that I have a Sony phone, it does not, it works, but it keeps dropping the connection. And pretty well anytime I want to find my phone, and I hit find my phone, it says, oh, your phone isn't connected. So I really am looking forward to it's really annoying. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes up in Mobile World Congress, because now that I've heard more about what Android Wear has, it has the extended things that I want. I want to be able to do reminders on my wrist and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to, they seem to be supporting it. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the next generation of wearables is for it. I think I wrote an article about what I was looking for. It sounds like an Android Wear device, but I want something that will switch from a watch to a clip to, something that looks like jewelry.
Gotcha.
Because I am used to having, tracking my pedometer and having my heart rate available and stuff like that. And at work, because I'm not supposed to have a phone, it's kind of nice to be able to set it on silent and get my messages and everything.
Okay. Tom, I think you have a comment, and you've used both the Sony watch and now are on the Sony smartwatch.
Yes, I've had the Galaxy Gear, Smartwatch 1, 2, and 3, 3 being Android Wear. There's a feature that Sony and Google advertised that doesn't exist. And I'm pissed. Not really pissed, but I wish it was there. So it's a video. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it right now. It's called the Smartwatch 3. And it's this kid on the bus, and he's carrying a bouquet of flowers. And you can hear him get a text message. And he looks at his watch. He goes, reply. I'll be there in a few minutes. And then the watch sends. That command does not exist on Android Wear. False advertisement. I want that to work because I'm at working. I'm working on and stuff. I got my sawdust on my hands and shit, and I have to keep tapping on my watch. Swipe over. Okay, reply. Yes, honey, I'll get milk when I get home. Send. Sends another reply. Swipe over. Reply. Yes, I love you too. Right? And I don't want to have to touch my watch. I want to say, oh, reply. Okay, I'll be there in a few minutes. I mean, I want that. And that commercial kind of got me. Anyways, Sivan has some comments.
Other things are missing. First of all, I can't even add a calendar event. from the watch, which is quite basic. So I feel that it still has a lot of room to grow. It will improve. It's already cool. It's already great, but it can be a lot better. But I remember the first days of Android in general. There were barely any apps, so many things, and it's so different now. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we can talk about Wear for a while, but we're going to keep this down to the 30-minute. I think we just hit that minute mark now. But I just wanted to quickly remind you guys, we've had some reviews on the website in the past little while. We haven't done this Hangout show for almost 2 months, so obviously there's some things that you guys get caught up on. I reviewed recently the Dell 3840 tablet. Siobhan has recently reviewed her Zen watch. Show off your Zen watch for us, Siobhan. There you go. They're kind of sleek device. Anyways, I also reviewed the Nexus 9. Want to take a look at that, the non-LTE version, but again, I just reviewed it on that. Tom has his Nexus 6 that he's been playing around with, so he's had his 1 month review on that. And in the next little while, sorry,
and
Tom?
I got one thing, it's good.
That's a little bit of an inside joke. Tom wanted to do a video for his review, and he just did that, essentially. So, but also, we do have a reviews coming up. We do have Siobhan got the N3, the Oppo N3. She's like the only Canadian with an Oppo.
There's a lot of us.
Sure, I'm sure. I've got the Z3 Into, and I got the Z3 Tablet Compact Into, and oh my God, the Z3 Tablet Compact is awesome. So there are some great reviews coming out in the next little while. If there are things you would like us to review, please share us with us, and we will try to find it and get our opinions to you on that as well. Or if you have opinions you'd like to share, we'd love to hear them. We'd love to have this conversation. I really appreciate everybody that's been on the Hangout chat there. I love being able to see that people are having discussions about what we're talking about, by all means. So anyways, let's wrap it up here, guys. We'll do this again next week, right? Next week? There we go. We got some nodding heads. Sure. Okay. So next week, guys, we'll turn it on here for now. We'll catch you then. Ciao.
All right, cheers, guys.
See ya.